Hi, have you ever noticed that when you eat diet products and drink diet drinks, you never seem to lose weight? Well, there are reasons for that. There's a number of them actually. The first one would be that when they remove the fat to make it low fat, they have to replace that fat with something that's going to make the food more palatable. So what they would generally replace it with would be a sugar, either high fructose corn syrup or regular table sugar. Now, as we know, unfortunately, whenever you eat sugar, it stimulates an insulin spike. Insulin is the hormone that's released by your pancreas to clear sugar out of the blood and put it straight into your fat cells. Now, unfortunately, while that process is going on and the sugar's going in one direction, which is into the fat cells, it means that you cannot burn fat from your fat cells for fuel. So you won't actually lose weight while that's going on. So that's one of the common mechanisms by which low-fat foods actually make you fat. But how about diet soft drinks, or soda as you call it in America? Well, see, there is a problem with those artificial sweeteners as well, because what they've found is that they're highly addictive for a start, and for another thing, when your tongue tastes that sweet sensation, a signal is sent from those sweet receptors on your tongue up to your brain, getting it ready for the surge that's about to happen in your stomach, which it thinks sugar is coming. Well, when the sugar doesn't come, unfortunately, it's already prepared all your systems for that sugar boost. So I think that what may happen is that your cells are stimulated to produce insulin anyway. So if they then don't get that sugar, you've got excess insulin running around in your blood sugar is lowered, and unfortunately it will turn into fat, the sugar that's taken out of your blood, and you will become very hungry. So how about those? That's the artificial sweeteners, and that's not all with the artificial sweeteners, because of course, being artificial, they also have toxic unwanted side effects. For example, they are neurotoxins, and what that means is they damage your nerve cells, including your brain. They are also thought to be quite carcinogenic, but then sugar's carcinogenic too. So if we would like to have something sweet and we don't want to have sugar or an artificial sweetener, why don't we have a natural sweetener? Probably the most known one at the moment is stevia. Well, stevia does come from a plant, a herb, and there is evidence to suggest that it may be beneficial in some ways, but it is also known to help the pancreatic beta cells to stimulate the release of insulin. So that could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to lose weight, however, stimulating the release of insulin is not going to be a good thing, as I've just explained. It makes you hungry, and it also is a fat storage chemical. So the story I have for you about stevia is to do with my daughter. My daughter, Audrey, is a type 1 diabetic and has been for many years. And because I'm a good mum and I didn't want her to have an artificial sweetener, and she can't have sugar because she's a diabetic, we save that for when she's having a hypo, I thought stevia would be a good choice. So when you begin with stevia, because it's 300 times as sweet as sugar, you should only use a very little bit. And I think initially when she started, she was only having a very small amount of stevia, and it may well be perfectly fine in small amounts like that, particularly if you're cutting out real sugar. However, in the case of my daughter, and she's not alone on this, I've read a lot of blog posts by people who've said the same things happened to them. She got addicted to that sweet taste, and she kept having more and more and more and more in her cups of tea. And what happened then was, I believe that even though she's not supposed to have any functioning beta cells, I believe she was actually producing insulin from her own beta cells. The reason I think that is because she was requiring less insulin to be injected, and she was hungry all the time, she was eating more, and she was gaining weight. Now, anyone out there who's a type 1 diabetic knows that if their insulin goes up, their weight gain goes up. If they have less insulin, their weight should decrease. So that didn't make sense. The only explanation I have for that is that stevia is actually insulinogenic, in large quantities. So I really advise you, if you're going to have stevia, please do not keep increasing the quantities. Try and make do with as little as possible. The other sweetener I'd like to just briefly mention is xylitol, spelt with an XY. Xylitol is my preferred choice of sweetener. I may turn out to be wrong in the years to come, I don't know, but I've done as much research as I can on xylitol, and it seems to be the anti-sugar sugar. It actually, instead of encouraging the overgrowth of pathogens such as yeast or candida, it seems to actually have an inhibitory effect. In other words, it stops them and slows them down. Same with pathogenic gut bacteria. If you have problems with your gut bacteria, xylitol could be quite beneficial for you. It has a blood sugar lowering effect, but it's the only one that's not insulinogenic, so it doesn't make you gain weight. Don't let your dog near it. It can kill dogs. It can cause hypoglycemia in dogs. So that's about the only caution on xylitol. Oh, except that if you eat too much xylitol, there's a possibility that you will have diarrhea. So again, be careful with the sweeteners, even the natural ones, and good luck with your weight loss journey. Thank you.